Something profound has shifted in the energy between you, and your person can feel it reverberating through every fiber of their being. You are no longer reaching out to them with messages that once lit up their phone screen. You are no longer calling them to share the mundane details of your day or the deeper thoughts that used to flow so naturally between you. This sudden and complete silence has left your person in a state of shock, unsettled and disoriented in ways they never anticipated experiencing. They never imagined that a day would arrive when you would pull your energy back with such grace, such dignity, and yet such undeniable power. It is as though your calm detachment has communicated volumes more than any words, any explanations, or any arguments ever could have expressed. The absence of your voice has become louder than any conversation you ever shared. Your person finds themselves in absolute awe of your ability to maintain such remarkable self-control and composure, especially when they know with certainty how deeply you once cared for them, how intensely you felt every emotion that passed between you. They find themselves lying awake at night, wondering how you can possibly remain so composed, so seemingly unbothered and peaceful, when inside their own chest, their heart is fracturing into countless pieces. They are the ones falling apart now, slowly unraveling with each passing day that you remain silent. This complete change in your energy, this withdrawal of your presence from their life, has made them realize with stunning clarity just how much space you truly occupied in their world. The emptiness you left behind is vast and echoing, impossible to ignore or fill with anything else. They miss you immensely, far more than they could ever articulate or put into coherent words. The longing they feel is not just emotional but physical, a genuine ache that sits heavy in their chest and radiates through their entire body. Every single day feels a little emptier, a little grayer, a little less meaningful without your presence warming the edges of their existence. They miss seeing your messages lighting up their phone, miss the way your voice used to fill the quiet moments that now stretch endlessly before them with nothing but silence and regret. They think constantly about the way the two of you used to talk, how effortless and natural it felt, as if you had known each other not just for months or years but for lifetimes upon lifetimes. The connection that existed between you was never something that had to be forced or manufactured through effort and intention. It flowed effortlessly and organically, guided by something far deeper and more ancient than logic or circumstance could ever explain. It was as though the universe itself had orchestrated your meeting, had drawn your souls together across time and space for a purpose neither of you fully understood but both of you could feel in your bones. Your person keeps replaying those precious moments in their mind like a film that plays on an endless loop, trying desperately to make sense of how someone could have touched their soul so profoundly, so completely, and in such a relatively short span of time. How does one person manage to leave such an indelible mark on another's heart? How does a connection become so deep, so significant, that everything else in life begins to pale in comparison? There is something undeniably magnetic and deeply sensual about the bond that you share with this person. There exists an unspoken chemistry crackling between you, an electric current that neither of you could deny no matter how hard you tried to rationalize it away or dismiss it as something ordinary. Even now, separated by distance and silence, they can still feel your energy as if it is a tangible presence in the room with them. Whenever their thoughts drift to you, which happens more frequently than they would care to admit, their body reacts instinctively as though you are still there beside them, close enough to touch. They find themselves feeling aroused by the mere thought of you, not just in a physical sense, but emotionally and spiritually as well. Your energy seems to linger permanently in their space, woven into the very fabric of their daily existence. It is as if the universe specifically designed this connection to challenge them, to awaken dormant parts of their soul, and to push them toward growth and transformation on multiple levels simultaneously. The intensity of what they feel both excites them and terrifies them in equal measure. They have never experienced anything remotely like this before in their entire life. This deep, passionate link that exists between you transcends all logic and reason. It exists in a realm beyond the mundane explanations that people usually give for attraction or compatibility. No matter how many new people they meet in their attempts to move forward, no matter how many distractions they deliberately chase to occupy their mind, they cannot find anyone who even comes remotely close to replacing you. Your presence in their life was entirely unique, something they now recognize as irreplaceable. Your energy left an imprint on their soul that cannot be erased by time or distance or any amount of willful forgetting. They realize now, with the painful clarity that only hindsight can provide, that what they felt with you was never ordinary affection or casual attraction. It was something sacred, something rare and precious, something that most people search their entire lives for and never find. You occupy a permanent space in their heart, a space that has your name written across it in letters that cannot be removed or overwritten. Deep in their soul, they know with absolute certainty that no one else deserves their attention, their devotion, or their love the way that you do. They catch themselves constantly comparing others to you, measuring every new interaction against the standard you set, but it only leaves them feeling increasingly disappointed and empty. You have established a standard that no one else can possibly meet, a bar that sits impossibly high for anyone else who might try to enter their life. Deep down in the most honest part of themselves, they know that it is only you who truly understands them, only you who can see past their defenses and connect with the real person hiding underneath all the protective layers they have built around their heart. Over the course of this painful separation, your person has also come to understand something profound and somewhat frightening about the nature of your connection. With you, they could never hide. You have always possessed the uncanny ability to see right through their walls, their carefully constructed defenses, and the masks they wear to protect themselves from the world. When they tried to appear strong and unaffected, you sensed the vulnerability trembling just beneath the surface. When they acted distant and aloof, you felt the desperate longing they were trying so hard to conceal. You saw and recognized the parts of them that they kept carefully hidden from everyone else, the parts that even they themselves struggled to accept and integrate. That kind of complete transparency, that level of being truly seen and known, scared them deeply. It is one of the primary reasons they may have pulled away from you or even blocked you at some point during your connection. They genuinely believed that distancing themselves physically and emotionally might help them regain some sense of control over their feelings, over their life, over the overwhelming intensity of what was happening between you. But instead of providing the clarity and peace they sought, it only deepened their confusion and amplified their emotional turmoil to unbearable levels. Now that you have consciously stepped back and withdrawn your energy from their space, they are beginning to understand what your absence truly means on a deeper level. It is not simply that you stopped calling or messaging them, not just that you are no longer initiating contact or checking in on their well-being. It is that your silence has become a mirror, a reflecting surface that forces them to confront everything they once carefully avoided examining within themselves. Your absence has created a void in which all their unprocessed emotions, all their fears and regrets, echo back to them with amplified intensity. They realize now how much they took for granted. Your energy, your kindness, your seemingly endless patience and understanding, they treated all of it as though it would always be there, as though you were an inexhaustible resource that would never run dry. You gave them a sense of peace and comfort, a feeling of being truly home that they did not fully appreciate until it vanished from their life. They operated under the unconscious assumption that you would always be there waiting for them, always understanding their struggles, always forgiving their mistakes and shortcomings, always ready to welcome them back no matter how poorly they behaved or how long they stayed away. But now that you have deliberately pulled your energy back, now that you have chosen to honor yourself by stepping away from a situation that was not serving you, they can feel the void you left behind. And it is utterly unbearable. The emptiness gnaws at them constantly, a persistent ache that colors everything they do and taints every moment of their day. Your person is feeling the crushing weight of regret pressing heavily upon their heart, making it difficult to breathe freely or move forward with any sense of peace. The memories of your laughter, so genuine and infectious, the memories of your touch, so tender and electric, the memories of your voice speaking words of love and encouragement, all of it plays continuously in their mind like a film they cannot stop watching no matter how much it hurts. Every memory is simultaneously a treasure and a torment, a reminder of what they had and what they carelessly let slip through their fingers. They have begun to realize, through this painful process of separation and reflection, that blocking you or ignoring your attempts at connection did not give them power or clarity as they had hoped it would. Instead, it only amplified their longing and made them realize just how deeply and permanently they are connected to you on a soul level. They thought that silence and distance would help them move on with their life, would allow them to forget you and find peace in other connections. But instead, it made them realize with devastating clarity that what they share with you is not something that can be easily dismissed or replaced. This forced separation has transformed into an awakening for them, a spiritual initiation of sorts. They now understand that what exists between you is not something they can simply walk away from and forget as though it never happened. It is something that demands honesty, demands vulnerability, demands courageous action despite fear. This connection requires them to show up authentically, to be brave enough to speak their truth, to risk being hurt again for the possibility of rebuilding something sacred. They are actively preparing to reach out to you now, even though they are deeply unsure and anxious about how you will respond. The desire to reconnect has become too strong, too persistent, too all-consuming to ignore any longer. It keeps them awake at night and distracts them during the day. They are thinking seriously about unblocking you if they took that step, or if communication lines were never fully closed. They are working up the courage to break the silence that has stretched between you for far too long. They are rehearsing what they want to say to you, trying to find the right words that will adequately express their remorse and their longing without sounding desperate or manipulative. They want to speak to you directly, to hear your voice responding to theirs in real time, to feel your energy flowing toward them again instead of being held at a distance. They need to know if there is still a place for them in your heart, if forgiveness is possible, if the door to your soul can ever be opened to them again. They are realizing that avoidance and denial will no longer work as coping strategies. If they genuinely want to heal themselves and rebuild this sacred connection that means so much to them, they must face it head-on with complete honesty and tremendous courage. They must be willing to be vulnerable, to admit their mistakes, to take full responsibility for the pain they caused. In your absence, your person has learned a powerful and transformative lesson about the nature of authentic love. Love is not about control or manipulation or operating from a place of fear. Real love is about authenticity and mutual respect. It is about honoring the other person's truth and their right to make their own choices, even when those choices create distance between you. They see now with perfect clarity that you were never trying to trap them or pressure them into anything they were not ready for. You were simply reflecting back to them the love and deep spiritual connection that they were too frightened, too wounded, too defended to accept fully. Your silence now has become your strength, and paradoxically, that very strength is what is drawing them back to you like a magnet. They are attracted to your self-respect, to your ability to honor yourself, to your refusal to beg or chase or diminish yourself for anyone. Deep down in the most knowing part of their soul, they understand that this connection is far from over. Something within them, some inner voice of wisdom, tells them that the story between you still has unfinished chapters waiting to be written. And they are determined, more determined than they have ever been about anything, to find the courage to turn the next page with you, to discover what the universe has in store for your continued journey together. I do not think you truly understand or can fully comprehend how deeply and passionately I feel for you. It is something that runs far beyond words, beyond any language that humans have developed to express emotion. It is something that lingers in every single heartbeat that pulses through my body and in every quiet thought that fills my mind when I am alone with myself in the stillness of the night. I have tried so many times to express it before, searching for the right words, the right metaphors, the right way to make you understand. But no matter how I say it, nothing seems adequate to capture the true depth of what I feel inside, the vastness of this love that has taken root in my soul. Loving you has become far more than just an emotion or a temporary state of feeling. It has become a fundamental part of who I am as a person. It is woven into the very fabric of my being, integrated into my identity in ways that feel permanent and unchangeable. Every time my mind turns to thoughts of you, which happens more often than I can count, there is this profound warmth that spreads through my chest, accompanied by an ache of longing, a bittersweet reminder of everything we had together and everything I still wish with all my heart that we could have again. If I could somehow go back in time and start over from the beginning, knowing everything I know now, I would do it without a moment's hesitation. I would hold on tighter to what we had, love harder and more openly, and never take a single moment for granted the way I foolishly did before. When you left my life, it felt as if a vital part of me went with you, leaving behind an emptiness, a hollow place inside my chest that I have not been able to fill with anything else no matter how hard I have tried. The truth is that it has been incredibly difficult to move forward, to function normally, to pretend that everything is fine when my heart is breaking. There are days when I manage to convince myself that I am healing, that I am learning to let go and accept reality. And then there are nights when everything comes crashing back over me like a wave, and I find myself missing you so intensely that it becomes physically hard to breathe. How am I supposed to go through my life pretending to be whole when the only thing I truly want is to be by your side again? I know deep down that everything happens for a reason, that there is divine purpose in all things. I have told myself this truth over and over again, trying desperately to make peace with the way things turned out between us. But if there truly is a reason for us being apart right now, I honestly cannot see it yet. This reason hurts too much, cuts too deep. It feels profoundly unfair that something so real, so genuine, so sacred could simply slip away. Until we meet again, until life grants us another chance to rebuild what we once had, I will carry you with me every single day. Quietly, faithfully, and lovingly, you will remain in my heart. Because no matter what happens next, no matter where our individual paths may lead us, you will always be the one I love with all that I am and all that I ever hope to become.